I'm Krystle. I've loved dolls my whole life. I collect everything from porcelain to cloth, American Girl, neonates, and real care dolls. But my favorite is to collect and make Reborn dolls. There's Chloe, Grace, Jeremy, Maya, Yuki, Savannah, Zoe, Haley, Landon, Maisie, and Joshua. It isn't easy keeping up with my collection, but it sure is a lot of fun. Mr. Landon, and I was gonna reveal his lips in a separate video because I finally did get them fixed up, because originally when okay, here's the thing. I'm still not 100% happy with his lips. Basically, when I first stripped the paint off of his lips at Maryland, I did take a wee bit more paint off, like around the edge, but it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't like I took off enough to make a big difference. So when I repainted his lips the first time, I got the shape of the lips looked pretty much like they did when I got him. And if all had gone well, I would have left them at that point, because looking back on the photos of it, even the color was really nice, and the shape was perfectly done, but it just happened that I guess the paint hadn't properly cured, and I was trying to do one little I was trying to add just a titch more paint in this corner of the lip right here, because I was trying to make it a little bit more even with the remainder of the lip, and it ended up chipping the paint when I tried to do that because the layer hadn't been cured as I thought it was. And so then I just could not get that area to blend properly at all because the paint had chipped off. So I had to restrip the lips, and when I did that, when I stripped them the second time, more of the paint around it came off. And so I worked with it, and basically I had to make the lips a little bit bigger. Then that time the lips came out way too red, way too red, and I didn't like them. So I stripped them a third time, and then that I managed to not strip any more paint than what I had stripped the second time. But of course then they still were bigger. I'm happy with the color they are now, even though for some reason on camera they look much more red than they are in person. In person they are more of a kind of like a rosy pinkish tone. And I'm happy with the color. I think the color is somewhat close to what his original lip color was. What I'm not happy about is the shape of the lips, because of how the paint was stripped more than the original shape of the lip. And it's very difficult to blend that in with the skin tone. You know what I mean? Like, picture these lips completely without color. If you strip to this point, then you're going to have bare vinyl there, and that's what happened. And I'm not the original artist of this doll, so I have no idea. And I don't use air dry paints, and he was done with air dry paints. I had no idea what combination of colors were used to create his base flesh color. So it's very difficult to get that color on those areas so that I could have shaped the lips as they originally came shaped, because originally his top lip was thinner. I would say probably looking more like that. I'll put up a picture so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So as you can see, the top lip was a little thinner. And also I don't think the divot, these little parts of the lip went up as high originally. I kind of did that myself in painting. I just kind of defined this area a little bit more, just for the fact that I did have to come out here, so I was trying to make it look more even. So definitely originally his top two, like the top lip was thinner, as well as it didn't go right to the corner. It basically joined with this part, so it kind of went around like that, essentially. And you'll see that in the picture. I'll show it again. So basically what happened, and the reason that I had to paint those areas is because, again, I couldn't get that flesh tone matched up. So I had no choice but to basically extend the lip, and make the top lip a little bit thicker, as well as now his mouth looks wider. As you can, like, you know, it comes, instead of coming to here, it's coming out to here. And I'm not very happy with it. I mean, I think it's basically because, you know, I've had him for a few years and he's always had, you know, the smaller shaped lips. Like, had he originally come to me with a mouth like this, I would not have thought twice or been upset. Like, it would be like, okay, cute baby, you know. But it just completely alters the expression of the baby and the personality of the baby that came to me. So to me, like, he looks like a whole different baby now than the baby that came to me. And it's quite upsetting to me that the artist did not stand behind her work and, you know, offer to do these repairs for me. Even though, yes, I am a reborn artist and I can, you know, fix things, as a customer, it should not be up to me to fix these things. Because especially when you're dealing with, I only deal with Genesis paints, and she did him with air dry paints, and I'm not familiar enough with air dry paints. It's just very frustrating that, you know, I mean, I don't know what color combination she used to get his original lip color either. And so, you know, it's just one of those things that it's like, you just want the original artist to stand behind their work and fix it. In hindsight, you know, hindsight is always 20/20, and I have a feeling that I maybe didn't even need to strip his lips. I may have been able to just paint over them, because his eyelids were actually starting to get a little bluish as well. And I just used some Genesis paint. It's like a premix paint for blush, for blushing. And I did about 2 thin layers of that on his eyelashes, and it took the blue away. It's actually a really nice color. So it makes me think that maybe I could have just gone over, even though it had like a bluish purplish tint, I maybe could have gone over that, and it would have been okay. But it had a gloss finish to it, and I wasn't sure that the paint would adhere to that gloss finish. So it's just one of those things. It's just unfortunate that I chipped the original lips, because, as I say, when I did those lips with Marilyn, I'm going to put up a picture of that too, so you can see when I did the original first try of the lips, that I actually got the correct shape. So as you could see with that picture, that it got the correct shape. Now see, now all of a sudden the lighting is showing his actual proper lip color now that you can see. It's just the lighting. But yeah, it's very frustrating. And, you know, it's just like, he's still a beautiful baby in my eyes. Like, I love the sculpt. I love his little button nose. I love his big blue eyes. But the fact that his mouth looks so differently shaped now just changes the whole look of the baby. It just changes the expression and the personality that I originally had in him. And I think some of you collectors out there can probably understand what I'm saying. It's like a whole new baby almost. But it's Landon. Like it's this, it's just, I don't know. I'm slowly kind of getting used to them as is. But Marilyn has an idea of how we might be able to use some flesh tones to reshape them without stripping them. So I might have a day to go over to her place or her come over here that we might try to work on it together, because I can't in my mind visualize what she's trying to say, but maybe if I have her with me, like to kind of show me, maybe we'll be able to thin out the upper lip and just taper out this little corner, and then maybe then it'll be great. But I would love your thoughts. What do you think of Landon's repainted lips? I just feel like it looks like he has chapped lips now. Like it looks like he had some collagen injections, or has a little bit of a rashy lip. You know how sometimes you can get babies get that little chapped lip around. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, guys. What do you think? As I say, I've had him done now for a few weeks. So I am slowly getting used to it like this. And I think another part of it too is that for, I would say, a good year, his lips were practically blue-gray. So I for a whole year didn't see his lips with any color. So that's also an adjustment, because it's like, wow, all of a sudden he has color. It's not coming up on camera because I'm not using my really good camera, but I also did add a little blushing on his forehead and his cheeks and his chin, but for some reason this camera is totally washing that out right now. I don't know how I can adjust that, but I'll have to do another video with my really good Canon Rebel camera. But let me know what you guys think of Landon's lips now. I mean, they definitely look better in terms of the color. I'm quite pleased with the color. They're definitely not as red as the second time I did them. And as I say, I also did add a bit of color to his eyelids because they were a little bit blue as well. But anyways, let me know what you think, and I hope that you enjoyed seeing Landon again after so long. And yeah, so thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.